Hi, my name is Zach Pasquarello, and I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. That's kind of a joke, but in all seriousness, I don't know where I'm going in 2025. The title of this video is probably going to be something like I'm pivoting from bookkeeping to private money lending and what it potentially means for you. I want to start this video by telling you how much money I made in my bookkeeping business last month, simply because I really like talking about my bookkeeping business. I want to inspire you. I want to show you the potential for your bookkeeping business in the next 2 to 3 years. I've been doing this for 4 years. I started my bookkeeping business in 2020, almost exactly 4 years ago. I have close to 85 bookkeeping clients, and I also do other stuff in my business. So last month, I made $90,000. In October, I made $101,000. In September, I made $98,000. It didn't all come from bookkeeping. So I have the numbers on the screen here. So in November, I made $54,000 from bookkeeping. 40,000 of that came from my monthly recurring clients. I have like 80 to 85 clients, and they're paying me anywhere from $450 to $500 per month on average. So that number times that number, roughly $40,000 per month, monthly recurring bookkeeping clients. And then I sell a course. So there's a ton of links in the description of this video, but this is what I'm potentially going to get away from. And I'll explain more later in the video. I made $5,000 in November from selling my course. And then I do other various consulting. I do one-on-one consultations with aspiring bookkeeping business owners. I sell digital downloads. I speak. I'm a public speaker. I do a bunch of different things when it comes to consulting on starting a business. And in November alone, I made $9,000 just from consulting and selling digital downloads. But here's what's changed. And then also I made $2,400 from YouTube ad revenue from making videos like this, teaching people like you how to start a bookkeeping business. But here is what has changed. Last month, I made $13,000 interest income just from private money lending. I give cash to real estate investors for acquisitions. I charge 12%, and they flip the property in 6 months and pay me back. And so I made $13,000 in interest income in November. And then I'm also teaching other people how to do private money lending. So I made $5,000 last month from what I call loan consulting, because I'm getting paid for teaching people how to start private money lending based on the dollar amount that they're lending. And in October, I made $6,000 just loan consulting. So in the past 2 months, I made close to the same amount of money loan consulting that I did with my bookkeeping course. And it's not about money. At this point, I'm making good money. So I need to figure out, what do I really want to do? Where do I see myself in 5 years? I'm not going to stop bookkeeping, but what I might stop doing, honestly, so I have 3 businesses right now. I've got bookkeeping, education, and lending. And in 5 years, I don't see myself growing my education business. I thought I did. I thought I was going to take my bookkeeping course to the next level. I thought I was going to continue creating digital downloads, continue creating these videos. I love teaching you all how to start a bookkeeping business. I just don't see myself in 5 years taking my education business to the next level. It's been incredibly profitable. For my bookkeeping course, made $52,000 this year. Consulting, $48,000. I made $100,000 in 2024 in my education business. That's incredible. Praise God. I'm so blessed. I love what I do, but I just don't see myself doing that in 5 years. I think I'm going to take my private money lending business to the next level over the next 5 years. So like I said, I've got 3 things going on right now. And honestly, I'm kind of just making this video because this is like my personal diary. So if this is boring, I'll understand. Like, don't watch this video. This is mostly for me, because I'm going to look back on this video in 2 years and say, wow, that was the pivotal moment. December 10th, 2024, that was the moment, that was the time that I pivoted and made a big decision to transition away from education and transition full force 100% into private money lending. So I need to keep the bookkeeping business. That's not going anywhere. I've got 80 clients. I can't just drop my bookkeeping business. That's not going anywhere because that's my golden goose. That's my cash cow. That's what's funding my living expenses and also my private money loans. So I have $500,000 lent out right now, and I'm helping other people lend out about $400,000. So I have close to $1 million of assets under management, I guess you could call it. $1 million that I'm lending out right now. And so I think I'm going to take my lending business to the next level, but I'm going to keep my bookkeeping business for now. I don't know though. I might transition to not taking on new clients. I haven't done that yet. No official announcement. I'm still taking on new bookkeeping clients maybe, but I'm also kind of maxed out. Like I'm making 54, 53, 72, 45 consistently $1,000 per month in my bookkeeping business. I don't need to make more money. So I need to figure out, what do I really want to do? Like, where do I see myself? And how can I leverage my time? Honestly, I'm running out of time. And so now that I'm making 80, 90, 100 grand per month, all of a sudden I need to be more strategic with my time, because I might stop doing one-on-one consultations, because $200 for 1 hour, $100 for 30 minutes, all of a sudden is not the best use of my time. Now, I get it. It's not always a one-for-one transaction. Like, it's not always like, is this worth my time? Yes or no, because you also need to take into consideration, what do I want to do? Do I enjoy this work? I'm making a difference. I'm helping people. So I understand that plays a role into the decisions I make. But with this loan consulting, I could close one loan and make $3,000 and work maybe 2 or 3 hours. So I just need to be really strategic and really mindful with the decisions I'm making moving forward and where I want to take my business. So what does this mean for you? If you watch me because I teach you how to start a bookkeeping business, I don't know how many more videos I'm going to make about that. Truthfully, honestly, I might drop a couple videos per month, maybe moving forward. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen to my YouTube channel. I don't want to give it up because I love making YouTube videos, and it's not about the money. It's absolutely not about the money. I'm making $2,000 per month from my YouTube channel, not about the money. But I enjoy doing this. I think I'm making a difference. I think I'm helping people. So I do want to keep doing the YouTube channel. I'm just not sure what I'm going to talk about, because also I'm 4 years removed from starting a bookkeeping business. So I'm kind of out of touch with common practices today. So if I were to do the best service to you all, I would need to spend more time learning the trends and the topics of today for starting a bookkeeping business. And I'm just not prepared to do that. I don't want to take my education business to the next level. So that's like some information about my personal journey. That's reasons for me making this shift. This is how it aligns with my long-term goals. Bookkeeping, I'm going to keep the bookkeeping business. I might sell it in the future. I might just keep it, or I might grow it and hire employees. But this also circles back to this idea that I've had for the past 2 years. I'm not sure if I want to hire employees. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. I know I could grow my bookkeeping business to be a multi-million-dollar company. I could have 5, 10, 20 employees. I don't know if I want that. That sounds like a lot of stress. And I understand, like, I could have management in place to manage the company for me. I don't think I'm going to sell it. I don't know if I'm going to keep running it. We'll see what happens. To be continued. I'm not going to make any drastic changes with that right now. But I want to end this video by highlighting some of the transferable skills that I've learned bookkeeping and that go into private money lending really, really well. So if you've made it this far, kudos to you. You're invested in this video and in my channel, and I really appreciate your support. So if you've made it this far, let me give you a couple tips on some skills that I've learned as a bookkeeper and how they can relate to private money lending. So real quick, what I do is I find real estate investors. So this all started because I'm a bookkeeper for real estate investors. And I learned like 18 months ago that my clients were paying these random people $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month. And I was like, who are these people? Why are you paying these people $5,000 every month. Like, I know they're not contractors. What are they doing? And I learned that they're private money lenders. And I learned that they just had some cash sitting around in their 401k or their bank CD or their money market or wherever. They had some cash sitting around and they just lent the cash to these real estate investors. And they're earning good interest, like way better than they could earn in a bank CD or a money market. And the cool thing is that it's a mortgage. So their investment is secured with a first lien mortgage, just like the bank. If you ever purchased a house and you got a mortgage, the bank owns the house, basically. You own the deed, but the bank has a lien on that house. So if you default on the loan, this has never happened to me before, but if you default on the loan, the bank could potentially foreclose on that property and they would take the property in place of you paying back the loan if you default. So these investments were secured with a first lien mortgage, asset backed, and they're earning 12% annual interest. And I figured if they can do it, shoot, I can do it too. I know a bunch of real estate investors. I've got $50,000 of cash laying around. So I did my first private money loan in August of 2023. And I made good money. And I did it again and again and again. And now I've done 8 loans, open and closed, 8 loans. I've got like 6 or 7 loans that are outstanding right now, open. And then I've got like another like 8 loans that are pending. So I've done close to 20 loans in the past 18 months. And I'm earning 12% interest. And I have a real estate agent, not a real estate agent, a title agent who handles the transaction, and a real estate attorney who creates the note, the mortgage, and the personal guarantee. And so where do I come in? What do I do? We've got the borrower, the real estate investor, purchasing the property, borrowing the money. And then me, I'm the lender. So I give them the money. So we have the borrower, real estate investor, lender, me, title agent, real estate attorney, handles the transaction. So I wire the money to the title agent, and then they handle the real estate transaction. So what do I do? Like, what's the whole point? Like, there's got to be something more than just having cash and giving it to real estate investors. So I'm operating as a bank, and a bank's job is to mitigate risk management. That's the job of a bank, to manage finances and mitigate risk. So underwriting is a huge part of this business, and so that's my job. There's two different ways to do this. You have to find customers, sales, and then you have to actually underwrite the loan to make sure it's a good loan. So I'm active on social media, as you all know. So I have found real estate investors who want my money. And so now I need to vet them or underwrite them or determine their creditworthiness. And there's several different ways you can do this. But this is bridging the gap between my bookkeeping experience, my tax knowledge, my financial expertise, and now me being a private money lender. So there's a long list of things that I need before I just give $100,000 to a total stranger. It all starts with tax returns. So I look at your 2 most recent tax returns, and most people have no idea what they're looking at when they look at a tax return. But us, bookkeepers, bookkeeping experts, accountants, like, we can read, interpret, analyze a tax return. And so I can judge somebody's creditworthiness to some degree based on their tax returns. I'm also requesting financial reports, just like a bookkeeper. I'm looking at their profit and loss and their balance sheet for their business. I'm also looking at their bank statements. I'm looking for unusual transactions. I want to make sure they have money in their bank account. I'm not going to lend to somebody who has negative $2,000 in their bank account every month. So I'm looking at tax returns, financial reports, bank statements. I'm also reviewing the borrower's investor experience. If they've done 10 flips this year, they're much more creditworthy, much more experienced. I'm much more likely to lend to them versus somebody who has never purchased a house before. So I'm looking at their investor experience. I'm looking at HUDs, HUD, HUD. It's a document that you get whenever you purchase a house, purchase or sell a house. So I'm looking at their HUDs. If they have sold 2 properties or more in 2024 or whatever year it is, then I will look at cash to seller. At the bottom of the HUD, I want to see, did they make a profit selling this house? Did they get cash when they sold the house? After they paid off the loan, after they paid closing costs, did they actually get cash back when they sold the house? So I'll look at their investor experience. So I will thoroughly underwrite the borrower. That's my expertise. But there's the other side of it, because your private money loan is also backed by a first lien mortgage. So not only do you want to underwrite the borrower, but I also want to underwrite the property itself. I have less experience doing this, but I'm learning. So I look at two things. I look at the scope of work, or the rehab budget, or the renovation plan. I want to see their scope of work. What are they going to do to fix the property? Because most of these real estate investors are buying old, beat down, run down, distressed properties that need to be fixed. So I'm looking at the renovation plan. How much is it going to cost for HVAC, appliances, landscaping, drywall, framing, kitchen, bathroom, flooring, painting, roof? How much is all windows? How much is all that going to cost? I want to see that they have, first of all, I want to see they have a plan. Second, I want to see their plan makes sense. If they say they're going to spend $50 to paint the whole house, that's obviously not an accurate plan. So first, I want to see, do they have a plan? Second, I want to see, is it an accurate plan? And full transparency, I'm learning as I go. So I'm requesting a scope of work or a reno budget every single time. And I'm analyzing these renovation budgets. And so I'm kind of learning as I go. Like, as I'm working with more investors, I'm exposed to more renovation plans. I'm learning, okay, typically on a 2,000 square foot house, drywall usually costs this much. And so I'm learning that as I go. And then finally, I look at the comps they used to calculate the ARV, the after rehab value, because this is what it's all about. If you fix and flip properties, how much is that property going to be worth after you fix it? It's impossible to know that unless you're looking at comps in the area of something that sold recently. So if it's a 2,000 square foot house built in 1970 with 3 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms in zip code 12345, I'm going to go to Zillow. I'm going to look at other houses in zip code 12345 that have sold in the past 2 years that are 2,000 square feet, built in the same time, same number of bathrooms, same number of bedrooms. I'm going to look at comps that have sold recently, and I'm going to use those comps to judge the after rehab value of this property, because it all comes down to purchase price plus rehab minus sales price. And so that's going to be your profit. So if you're going to tell me you're going to buy a house for 100 grand, put 50 into it, sell it for 200, that's great. But how do you know you're going to sell it for 200? Because if the comps in the area are only selling for 160 and you're going to buy it for 100 and put 50 into it, after closing costs, you're not going to be profitable. So I need to see, do you actually have comps that can back up your after rehab value? So that's it, guys. Why I'm pivoting from bookkeeping to private money lending and what it means for you. If you're a bookkeeper or a finance expert or an accountant, if you thought about starting a bookkeeping business, hopefully you've been watching my videos, hopefully you started a bookkeeping business, but also maybe look into becoming a private money lender. If you have $25,000 or more, then maybe you could become a private money lender. And I guess I could say, like, don't actually listen to anything I said in this video. I would hate for you to take any of my advice and for something to not pan out. This is just for educational purposes only. Just like everything I ever say is always just for educational purposes only. But if you like this video, if you made it this far, thanks so much for your support. I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, but I'm going to figure it out.